Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial. This week we are working on this brown bear which may look a little familiar. It's a huge soft teddy bear that they sell in IKEA, and I'm now going to totally butcher the name, but I think it's called a Djungelskog. This was my daughter's birthday cake, and if you're a fan of watching the behind the scenes of my cake life, you'll see why this one was a bit of a rush. I'll leave the vlog linked below in the description box if you're interested. But for now, I'm just sticking some ganache to the board to stick down my first cake, which is a 5-inch round. I'm then filling and stacking my layers until they are 4 cakes high, which is my usual height for all my other cakes when they're tiered. I'm then starting to carve a slope at the top, so I'm keeping him round and plump at the bottom. And then just taking the very bottom off just to round him out. You'll see it kind of slopes off more at the front, and the very top of the cake is still intact towards the back. I'm then adding some buttercream to add little scraps of cake for the head. This is just an extra leftover cake layer. I'm then adding some ganache to stick on the legs, which you can actually achieve this with mini rolls or Swiss rolls instead of carving the feet into more rounded shapes from cake. I've just angled the cut towards the body and then cut it flat on the front. Once that's done, I'm adding a layer of chocolate ganache to seal it all in and give him a bit more shape. I've also got this acetate smoother, which I love to use for smoothing ganache on a rounder shape. You can just bend the acetate between your fingers and you can see how much smoother it's looking already. And this is just the initial rough layer. Once that's set, I'm adding in some discs of sugar paste to bulk out the ends of the feet, and the same with the little snout, which is a bit of a flattened cone shape. Now for the final layer of ganache. This is where you can cover your sugar paste pieces to blend them into the cake better, and also add shape to any other areas if you want to give them a bit of an extra belly. This acetate smoother is great for removing the spatula lines. Once set, I've just dampened him and I'm laying over some white sugar paste, wrapping the open area round towards the back. You want to quickly start to push the sugar paste into all the contours of the body. You want to push the paste in between the legs and around the shape of his snout. And around the back, I'm cutting a straight edge and wrapping the excess paste over, cutting it down to meet. Any excess where there's pleats can just be squished together and removed over and over again until you have a nice flat finish. You just want to work quickly to make sure that you can get rid of your seams and get that paste around the contours of the body before it starts to dry out. I'm just cutting and leaving a little bit of paste on, as this will disappear underneath the bear as we tuck it in. I also leave a bit of a gap all the way around for excess sugar paste, as I know when I come to push it underneath, some of it will disappear and shorten, and then we can just take off the bits that are still too long with a scalpel. I have lots of different acetate smoothers in all different sizes. They come in handy for smoothing your ganache, but also using as a cutter to take off the excess paste from around the bottom. To smooth our bear further, you just want to push a ball of sugar paste onto your hand to create a little handle, and you want to rub that sugar paste around the surface of the bear, which really works in refining a smooth finish. I'm then taking my Dresden tool and starting to mark in the stitch lines from the original IKEA Djungelskog, around the bottom of the feet where the colour changes, and 2 lines running across the head. And then grabbing a ball tool and gently marking in where I want the eyes to go. I'm adding on some sugar paste arms, which are just flattened sausages, added with water. For the ears, I'm just taking a ball of paste and indenting the centre with a large ball tool. You then want to cut them in half to create 2 little ears. I wouldn't recommend cutting it on your hand, but none of my knives are very sharp anymore. And now we have the basic shape of our bear done. This is kind of where it goes downhill. If you get to watch the behind the scenes vlog, you'll know I was fighting a foot infection and I was struggling to stand. This was the second cake I needed to get finished that week and I just really wanted to get it finished. This is brown airbrush colour I've just got on a big fluffy brush. And it was exactly the same sort of reddish brown that the original Djungelskog is covered in. However, I probably should have just covered him straight in brown paste, rather than painting him, as I wasn't massively keen on the brush strokes, although you can argue that it does give you the illusion of fur. The ends of the feet are slightly lighter brown, and I've just added the excess details like the black nose and eyes, which I then felt weren't dark enough, so I painted over them in black paint. Usually you see me cover the board in sugar paste, but I just did not have the patience left to cover it. So I grabbed some brown sugar that I found in my cupboard and decided to pat the brown sugar into piping gel that I dampened the board with. Make sure you add your ribbon on before you sand, as that will help contain it and keep it on the board near the edges. And that's it. I have no idea why the Djungelskog is sat in sand. It makes 0 sense. It's also not a great colour choice because it matches too closely to the colour on the base of his foot, but I just really was not feeling it that week and I needed to get it finished for her birthday. Here she is with her huge real Djungelskog, which in my opinion is far cuter than the one I made out of cake, but I hope you still enjoyed this tutorial and took something away from it. Thanks guys, see you in the next one.